This is Samuel from Animal.
This is Ida from Trisphere.
This is Parker Jameson from Starkill.
This is Vicky Sarakis from The Agonist.
This is Ben from Goat Whore, and you're listening to the Great Metal Debate Podcast.
Hey metal fans, the podcast returns with another metal artist interview. Today I'm joined by Sindre of Deception. Thank you so much for coming on the Great Metal Debate.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let's get right to it. You guys have just released a new full-length album entitled The Mire. Obviously, it's been a crazy past 12 months with the worldwide pandemic. What led to the decision to release an album now, and how long have these songs been in the works?
Well, we thought that, to be honest, we really thought that it wouldn't last as long as it would, but then we had a discussion about it to just release it anyway, because most of the listeners anyway are streaming the songs and the album, so we figured why not give something to listen to during the pandemic, you know. But most of the songs was written right after the release of our previous album, and a couple of songs were actually in the works before we released that as well. So it's been I think it's been like 2 years in the works, both with the writing of the songs and recording and mixing and preparing for release. So we've probably been sitting on this album for about a year, around that.
That has to be frustrating as an artist. You've worked through the creative process and then to have to wait to have the outlet. How exciting is it for you to have these songs finally reach the ears of listeners and fans?
Yeah, it has been really exciting. We've been getting a much broader audience than previous releases with this one. So it really seems to be vibing with the crowd.
Can't speak for all the fans and critics, but I will speak for myself. One of the first things that I always look for in an album is first, simply, can I hear all the instruments and the singer? And that can especially be a problem with extreme metal, death metal, etc., where there's sometimes a tendency for the music to be noisy and overcompressed. But I'll tell you, whoever mixed and mastered your album did a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's actually Scar from Equilibrium. He's a good friend of ours. He's been doing some of our albums previous. But we told him when we were kind of explaining to him what we wanted, that we wanted to have a clear sound but still punchy, you know. So we probably had to do some compromises, but I don't think that's much. I think it's really, we got a really hard-hitting soundscape, as well as keeping the instrument fairly clear.
And you mentioned this is actually the third full-length release. Do you feel like you've grown in that way as an artist since your first recordings, that you've developed a better sense of how to, maybe you had in your mind how the music would sound, but it actually getting that onto record and produced, has there been a growth process there?
Well, this is probably the first album that I've been as close to 100% satisfied with the end result, but also with regarding the that this is the third full length. We changed the name back in 2018, and a lot of people kind of mistook that as just a name change. So we kind of discarded the two full lengths that were given out as Art of Deception. So we're not playing those songs anymore. We're kind of just focusing on the Deception material.
I was going to ask about that a little later, but let's get to it now. You all did change the name from Art of Deception to Deception. Can you explain what the thought process was? Why did you want to make such a clean break as far as both the sound and the presentation of the band?
Well, we had the thing was that the lead vocalist quit, so we figured that, okay, since he quit, there's going to be a distinct sound change with me taking over the vocals. So why not just mark it by kind of starting over with name change and kind of phasing out the old stuff?
Obviously, it presents some opportunities. There's also a tendency, maybe not the healthiest one. I mean, I'll admit for myself, sometimes bands that I fall in love with, even small changes can frustrate me. Have you had any pushback from fans of Art of Deception and the change to Deception, or have most of them been understanding and been open to the new presentation and music?
No, actually quite the contrary. We've been actually getting better response as Deception than Art of Deception, and I can probably understand that. It's the albums that we gave out as Art of Deception, they kind of that kind of feeling you get when listening to something and it sounds like they're in their teens, and it's kind of like they're going through puberty.
Maybe needs some work to get where they want to go.
Yeah, they're still a little bit. I think we really caught on to something with those albums, but I don't think we've actually reached the potential we could before we actually changed the name and started really focusing on what we wanted to do.
So I do want to talk about a few of the songs off of the Mire. I really love Return of the Baphomet. That's just a brutal battering. It's at times almost a black metal feel to it with all the atmosphere and some of the vocal shrieking. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Well, it started out with I'd been listening a lot to Behemoth at the time.
You can tell, yeah, absolutely.
And so we started out, okay, let's just start the song with full-on blast beats and tremolo picking, and just try to start the album in a way that that not a lot of bands in the genre does, just brute, relentless force just coming at you. But that song we wrote that as a band in the rehearsal space, and it just really came naturally. We were discussing the next parts and just kind of wrote it, and then we also got the mixer. He sang on the second verse, so really grateful for that.
And another very different track that I really enjoy is Grasp of Lilith. Man, there's a killer melody line in that one. I know you all also released that as a concept video back in October. Why that track for a video? And also, do you enjoy making videos?
Why that track for a video? It's kind of, it's kind of a death metal pop song. Because you have these hooks,
Yes.
And you got really like memorable melody line and everything. So ever from the start, we just thought that, okay, that's gonna be the first single. It's probably one of the like strongest like single material that we have, just for pulling people in and like getting into the groove with what we are, and then if they like that, they're probably going to check out the other stuff, which is a little bit more extreme. But what was the other question?
Oh, just in general, do you enjoy making videos? It's a concept video, so it's a little hard to tell, but it looks like it would have been fun to make.
Yeah, I actually delved into video making before or during the pandemic, so I really studied a lot of like techniques and everything, editing videos, and so we did it all by ourselves, both the videos.
Yeah, and it's outstanding. I will tell listeners that I completely agree. It is kind of the most pop one, if you want to call it that. But don't worry, they didn't cut any corners there. This won't be on top 40 stations. It's still fully metal. Do you all have plans to do any more videos besides the two you've already released for this album, either live concept or lyric videos?
We'll have to look into it. We are kind of control freaks with that stuff because when we were Art of Deception, we've had some, like, not bad experiences, but the outcome wasn't what we wanted. So we've decided to, like, just do it ourselves and just be happy with the content that we're creating. But as to if we're going to make some more videos, we'll have to see. I hope so, that we can make some more videos, but right now we are kind of planning on doing some more like vlogging type stuff and like getting like our personalities out there, not just the brand, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of it. You mentioned being control freaks, and I do find when I talk to artists that does tend to be a tendency that crops up over and over. However, you didn't release this on your own. You are working with a company, Mules Records, out of Norway. Looks like they've got a small roster of very good death metal bands. How long have you been working with those folks?
We've been working with them since 2018, I think. They're a great label. They kind of let us do what we want, but still like helps us with the dirty work, like ordering everything and getting it registered and like some promotional stuff, and yeah.
Kind of getting the best of both worlds with those folks. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were getting kind of tired of doing everything ourselves, so we figured, hey, these are good guys. Why don't we work with them?
So I know it's early on, but so far, are you pleased with the response from fans or even maybe critics, early reviews of the album? Do you feel like you've been successful in the first round of promoting the album?
Yeah, it's been very well received. So we're getting lots of comments from both in Norway, but also from everywhere in the world. Like some people in South America, in America, the U.S., and like further down Europe. So that's really cool. We've experienced some kind of broader performance-wise,
sure,
on the album. So the only shame is that we don't really get to tour anything. So that's probably the most frustrating part, because that's mostly where we earn the most money, from selling the CDs and the vinyls and some T-shirts and everything. We try to do as well as we can, selling the stuff online and stuff.
Yeah, one of the frustrations I've heard over and over the past year from bands who've released new albums is that inability to have an album release show, the opportunity to have close friends and families come, a real kickoff to the album where you can play the show, some of the songs for the first time live.
Yeah, kind of. But we have some shows on hold, so we're kind of postponing the release show. We're probably just because we didn't have it on the release date doesn't mean that we can't have it at a later date. We've actually got some shows planned, like corona-friendly shows lined up, but we were actually supposed to play this weekend, but it got shut down because of new restrictions and stuff.
Right. So, talking generally, melodic death metal, that's one of my favorite subgenres of heavy metal, although I like a variety of types. You guys, I feel like, having listened to the album, you all certainly don't pigeon yourselves into any one particular subgenre. You're using a variety of styles and sounds. I'm curious what other styles of metal or music generally influence or inspire you in your performance.
Well, really anything that I kind of come across, or we come across, we can get inspired by. We don't like to place ourselves into a subgenre. The one genre we like to put ourselves in is like death metal, but we draw inspirations from everything, from pop into jazz into hip hop, and probably anything we like to listen to.
And if folks who listen to the Mire, if you listen closely, you can hear some of that coming out, some interesting and different sounds that are maybe woven into that death metal. So before we wrap up, outside of music, what do you and the guys in the band enjoy doing? What do you do professionally or personally? Of course, during COVID, some of the things that we've all enjoyed doing are not available anymore, but kind of what do you guys do away from music?
Well, one of us is studying jazz at the moment, and we've all been very fortunate to still have work through this pandemic. I work in a kindergarten, so there's always a place for that. There's an electrician in the band, and one who deals with selling car parts. So we've it's been kind of a normal situation work-wise, but other than that, there's music is like the biggest passion, but we can enjoy other things as well. One of the guys goes surfing. There is another guy who skates. Myself, I don't. I have an interest in a couple of things. It's like music and videos and or editing and recording, and just trying to find my place.
Well, it's good to know that you guys have some other things to turn to, but also just that you've been able to continue to support yourselves during this time. Glad to hear you all doing well, and hopefully soon we'll be able to get back to the music and the live format in the way we've all been accustomed.
I think that one of the things that has made this really really good for us is that we actually got the time to record this album when Norway shut down. We went into the recording studios we were really paying attention to washing our hands, and if anyone got sick, they stayed home, and we're really cautious about it. But in reality, we just got some more time to actually record it. And also, after we recorded it, we've been writing a lot of new material, and since we all love to write as well, it has actually been quite satisfying to get that stuff done.
So I have to ask, that leads to the question about, do you all have the follow-up to the Mire in part written, completely written? Kind of where does that stand as far as new music in the future?
Well, I've been setting maybe an unrealistic goal, but maybe we'll be heading to the studio this fall, actually. So we'll have to see about that. But we have maybe 4 or 5 song ideas that are getting ready, and a lot of riffs that we can work out of.
That's the key to it all, having those good riffs that can be molded into into the metal song. That's awesome to hear. So finally, Sindre, what is the best way for fans to purchase music and merchandise from Deception, including the new album, The Mire?
Right now, the best way is to go to our Big Cartel at deceptionband.bigcartel.com to buy the physical album and some merch. We're also setting up a Bandcamp so people can buy the files, check out the album, and follow us on social media and interact with us. We are quite active on there. So if anyone wonders about anything, it's just to hit us up.
And I was able to purchase my copy. May take a little while to get shipped over to the States, but that was very easy to do online, and I'm looking forward to getting that hard copy. Check out again, they've got music videos up available online, so you can check out in advance some of these great songs. It's an outstanding album. Certainly if you're a death metal fan, melodic death metal, extreme metal, really a metal fan of any stripe, you're going to find something to enjoy in this music, The Mire by Deception. Sindre, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.